Hello, everyone. Today, I want to share a story for anyone who dreams of becoming a businessman, entrepreneur, leader, or someone who wants to build his own life. My name is Carlos, and I am from Mexico. I grew up in a crowded neighborhood. No luxuries, no big house. Just a small room with 6 people living together. Life was not easy, but we had each other. My father sold fruits on the street. My mother cooked food for neighbors. From the age of 10, I also started selling things on the street: socks, snacks, sunglasses, anything I could sell to make a little money. But inside my heart, I wanted something bigger. I wanted to run a big business. I wanted to travel. I wanted to meet people from all around the world. I wanted a life where I could make my own choices. Then reality hit me hard. To do business, you need English. English is the language of money, the language of business, the language of the internet, the language of opportunities. Without English, you are limited. And my English, terrible. I could barely say, "My name is Carlos." I felt ashamed, I felt small. I felt trapped in my own world. One day, a tourist came to my street stall and asked, "How much is this?" I couldn't understand him. He repeated 3 times. I still didn't understand. He walked away. I lost a sale. I lost money. I lost confidence. That night, I sat alone in my small room and promised myself, enough. I refuse to be weak. I refuse to stay small. I will change my life. I will learn English. I will chase my dreams no matter what. Since I was a child, I worked on the streets. I carried small products, shouted prices, and learned how to talk to people. Selling was not easy. Hot sun, long hours, very little money. Every day I watched tourists and business people. They seemed confident, they spoke English. They could sell anything. They could travel anywhere. They could grow their businesses. I wanted that life too. I wanted to be confident. I wanted to speak English. I wanted to make my dreams real. But there was one big problem: my English. Without it, my dreams would stay small. I could not talk to tourists. I could not read signs. I could not grow my business. I felt weak, but I refused to give up. I started small. I opened YouTube on my old phone. I watched English videos. I learned new words and repeated them again and again. I read signs in English on the streets. I listened to English songs and tried to understand the words. I even talked to myself in English when no one was watching. People thought I was crazy. They laughed. Some even made fun of me, but I didn't care. Every word I learned made me feel stronger. Every sentence I understood gave me hope. Every small success pushed me to work harder. I promised myself, I will not be like others who accept their limits. I will grow, I will succeed. I will break the walls that stop me. Then one day, a friend gave me an idea. He said, "Carlos, if you want to learn English faster, go to the Philippines. Everyone speaks English there, and it is cheap. You can live, study, and practice every day." That was a turning point. My dream became bigger than my fear. My goal became bigger than my comfort. I knew I had to take action. I knew my life would change if I chose to fight for it. I had no money, not even enough to travel, but I was determined. I worked harder than ever. I woke up at 5 a.m. and walked the streets selling products. I worked all day under the hot sun. At night, I took small jobs wherever I could find them. I saved every coin. I skipped snacks. I skipped comfort. After 1 year of hard work, I finally had enough money. I booked a flight to Manila, Philippines. My heart was full of excitement, but also fear. Could I survive there? Could I understand English? Could I grow as a businessman? I had never been so far from home. I had never been in a foreign country before. The first week was hard, harder than I ever imagined. Everything was fast, people spoke quickly. I couldn't understand their accents. I felt lost, I felt stupid. I cried every night in my small rented room. I thought about giving up. I thought about going back home to my small room, to the crowded streets, to the easy comfort of familiarity. But then I remembered my dream. I remembered the days I lost sales because I couldn't speak English. I remembered the nights I cried alone, wishing for a better life. I remembered my small neighborhood, my father selling fruits, my mother cooking for neighbors. I couldn't quit now. I refused to let fear control me. I made a plan. I would immerse myself in English completely. I would listen, speak, read, and write every single day. I would practice with strangers. I would learn new words every day. I would not be afraid to make mistakes. I promised myself, I will not leave Manila until I can speak English and grow my business. In Manila, I knew I had to improve my English if I wanted to succeed in business. I created 3 powerful methods to practice every single day. The headphone trick. I found an old pair of headphones. I wore them and walked around the city, pretending to talk on the phone in English. I described everything I saw. I am walking. That is a bus. I am buying coffee. At first, people stared at me. Some laughed, but I didn't care. Every sentence I said made me stronger. Every mistake taught me a lesson. Slowly, speaking English became normal. Talking to strangers. I forced myself to speak with anyone who would listen. Cashiers, classmates, people on the street. Every small conversation gave me courage. Sometimes I didn't understand. Sometimes they didn't understand me. But every interaction helped me learn. I learned how to ask questions. I learned how to explain myself. I learned how to be confident. 5 new business words every day. Every day, I learned 5 new business words. I wrote them down in a small notebook. I repeated them over and over. I used them in sentences when I talked to people. Slowly, my vocabulary grew. Slowly, I could understand more conversations and read more English text. Every day, I practiced listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I watched English videos. I listened to podcasts. I read signs, books, and online articles. I wrote down everything I learned. At first, it was hard. I made mistakes. I felt embarrassed. I sometimes wanted to give up. But I reminded myself why I came here. I remembered my dream of running a big business. I remembered the streets in Mexico and the tourists I couldn't talk to. I refused to fail. Slowly, fear started to disappear. Slowly, confidence grew. Every day, I felt a little stronger. Every day, English became easier. And every day, I felt closer to my dream. With these three methods, I realized something important. Learning English is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about trying every day. And most importantly, it's about never giving up. After 8 months of hard work, something amazing happened. My brain stopped translating from Spanish to English. I could think in English naturally. I could read a sentence and understand it immediately. I could speak with classmates and teachers without fear. I could ask questions without hesitation. I started making friends from many different countries. Students from Japan, India, Germany, and the USA became my friends. We talked about our cultures, our dreams, and our lives. I learned new words and phrases every day. I practiced English with them in real situations. Every conversation helped me feel stronger and more confident. I also learned about business from my friends. They shared ideas about starting companies, selling products, and finding customers. I realized the world was bigger than my small neighborhood in Mexico. I learned that opportunities were everywhere. If I could speak English, even small experiences helped me grow. I traveled a little around Manila. I went to markets, shops, and events. Every interaction was a chance to practice English. I asked for directions, ordered food, and talked to shopkeepers. At first, I felt nervous, but with every small success, my confidence grew. I also started reading simple business articles in English. I listened to podcasts about entrepreneurship. I wrote notes and repeated sentences aloud. Slowly, I could understand English in real life, not just in a classroom. For the first time, I felt like I belonged. I felt that the world was open to me. I could see opportunities I never noticed before. I could talk to anyone. I could travel anywhere. I could start my dream business. I realized an important truth. English was not just a language. It was the key to freedom. It was the key to my dreams. It was the key to my future. From that moment, I promised myself, I will never stop learning. I will never stop speaking. I will never stop growing. Because now I knew the world was mine. If I worked hard and used my English. After 1 year in the Philippines, I finally returned to Mexico. I had learned something amazing. I could speak English fluently. I had confidence, knowledge, and a clear vision. I was no longer the street seller who felt small. I was ready to start my own business. I began small. I created an online store. I sold products to local customers. At first, it was hard. I had to learn about marketing, deliveries, and customer service. I made many mistakes. Sometimes packages were late. Sometimes customers were unhappy. But I learned from every mistake. I wrote down solutions. I asked questions. I improved every day. Slowly, I started making small profits. Each sale gave me hope. Each happy customer gave me confidence. I realized that success comes from action, not fear. I kept pushing myself. I worked long hours. I stayed up late fixing problems. I woke up early to plan new ideas. I never gave up. After some time, I wanted to grow bigger. I started importing products from Asia. I learned how to find suppliers, negotiate prices, and check product quality. Every conversation with suppliers was in English. Every email was in English. Every negotiation was in English. My English became my superpower. Then I started exporting products to other countries. I had customers in the USA, Canada, and even Europe. I realized that English had opened doors I never knew existed. Without it, I could not have done any of this. Slowly, my dream became reality. From a street seller with a small basket of socks and snacks, I was now a businessman with global connections. I was learning, growing, and achieving more than I ever imagined. And I remembered the lesson I learned in Manila. Every small step counts. Every mistake teaches you. Every new word, every conversation. Every effort moves you closer to your dream. I smiled because I knew this was only the beginning. The small store, the first shipment, the first satisfied customer, they were all the foundation of a bigger future. Years of work, mistakes, learning, and persistence finally paid off. My online store started to grow. I learned how to manage customers, deliveries, and payments. Slowly, I expanded my business. I started importing products from Asia and exporting to other countries. Every step was challenging, but I kept going. I hired a small team. I taught them how to help customers and manage orders. I learned new skills: accounting, marketing, and international trade. I studied online. I watched videos. I asked questions. Every day, I improved a little more. My business started reaching customers in the USA, Canada, India, and Australia. People trusted me. People liked my products. I felt proud. I remembered the days when I sold socks and snacks on the streets. Back then, I could barely say, "My name is Carlos." Now I could negotiate with suppliers, answer emails from different countries, and speak confidently with clients. Last year, my company earned $180,000. I had money, freedom, and respect. I could support my parents. I could help my family. I could travel and learn more. But the most important thing was the feeling inside me: pride. Pride for not giving up. Pride for working hard. Pride for chasing my dream. I realized something very important. Success is not just about money. Success is about courage, learning, and growth. It is about starting small and never quitting. It is about turning weaknesses into strengths. My weakness was English. My fear was speaking to strangers. My struggle was selling products on the street. And all of that became my power. I smiled because I knew my journey had value. Every brick I carried, every coin I saved, every mistake I made, it all led to this moment. I was no longer the boy in a crowded neighborhood. I was Carlos, a businessman with vision, knowledge, and hope for a bigger life. And I knew one thing for sure: English had changed my life. Without it, none of this would have been possible. Everything in my life started with one thing: English. English opened doors. Doors to opportunities, knowledge, and people. Doors to dreams I never thought were possible. It helped me talk to customers from other countries. It helped me read about business. It helped me understand the world. English made my dream real. I want you to remember one thing. If you want a big life, you must learn English. The language of big opportunities is English. Without it, your dreams may stay small. But with it, anything is possible. Do not accept being small. Do not accept excuses. Do not accept fear. Do not accept limits. You are the only one who can change your life. Nobody will come and save you. Only you can make it happen. Start today, right now, don't wait for tomorrow. Open a book. Listen to English videos. Talk to people, make mistakes. Fail, try again. Every time you fail, you grow. Every time you try, you get stronger. I started as a street seller in Mexico. I could barely say, "My name is Carlos." I lost sales because I didn't know English. I felt ashamed, I felt small. But I refused to give up. I worked every day, I saved money. I went to the Philippines. I practiced English for hours. I talked to strangers. I learned business words, I didn't quit. Now I run a successful business. I work with people from the USA, Canada, India, and Australia. I earn money. I have freedom. I have respect. I live my dream. And it all started with English. If I can do it, so can
Lub,
you. Your
KDJ,
past does not
QL,
define you.
Wo, and
Your struggles
DJ,
do not limit
Own,
you.
DN,
Your fear
KW,
does not stop you.
KW,
Take action,
KW,
learn English, open your
DNKW.
world. If I, a street seller from Mexico, can become a successful businessman, then you can become anything. The choice is yours. Start today.